Hello, Dor.
Hello, Alaia.
So, before we dive into the conversation, I just wanted to set a little context for the ones that's gonna watch it. So, today we're having this conversation about connect, and I am very excited and delighted to ask things that are on my heart, things that spark my curiosity, and things that maybe other would like to learn about connect. So, um, yeah, just to start, I want to say that I am very inspired by you, Dor, by what you do, by the spaces you are creating, by this community. Um, there's so many words to describe you. You are such a ninja, I feel, and such a badass. You know, you do so many different things, and yeah, I feel you're such a well, funny to say, but door opener. You open the door. You open many door. You build communities. You teach people about very conscious use of their emotions. You speak about this next culture thing that's completely like mind-blowing concept for me. That's just breaking all these conceptions and conditionings that so many modern space holding spaces have, in my opinion. Um, and apart from it, I just feel you are this like light warrior that is just like unstoppable. And whatever you do, there's so much conviction and like empowerment and clarity in your expressions and in the spaces that you are opening. Um, yeah, so I'm just like very inspired, as I said, and curious about Connect. I'm quite new to this community and I'm learning slowly. So let's start with you just, sharing in few words about yourself and what is Connect, how come it was born, and what is its purpose?
Okay, thank you for having me. I feel joy to be with you in this space. And I also feel a bit scared to, it's like there's a big task and a big mission here, and I'm scared to blow it, or, you know, I'm also scared a bit because I left my bag over there. I'm afraid that my space looks messy. And I feel a bit glad about my hair today. I feel like it's a good hair day. Not like this every day. Interview. Sorry for being a bit superficial, but yeah, I feel yeah. Somehow I have also sadness with me that it's probably from a little bit from before, from the space before that I just came here from, and yeah, it's excitement to do this interview. So thank you for having me. It's so cool that I already feel the clarity in the space that you hold, and thank you for doing this, for taking a stand for this. Uh, like this, I don't know, like platform or this interview in a way. It's like a channel that we can channel things to the people that's gonna see it. And this is what it's about for me.
Hmm.
Okay, let's start.
Yeah, by the way, I just want to say it's amazing what I'm learning. The first thing I learned in Connect was actually that presence, that like it's breaking all these boxes and contexts of superficiality that I love, you know, when it's broken and it's just like the pure reality of the present moment, what I feel, what is there, and not having any shame or judgment over this humanity that it's there present. And I feel it's so beautiful to always have space to create, yeah, like a room for that. So thank you for also opening it in this way instead of just jumping straight into it. Yeah.
So, will you share this for me? I want to understand also what's the boxes that you mentioned that people put up or that are being put up.
just like embodying roles, like, oh, this is my role. I'm a person who's interviewing and you're the one who answers, right? And like straight on the beginning, you just break this box and you are inviting like,
You
conscious,
got me.
I cut you here, yes, conscious emotions and what is present in the space. And already like, already space holding is starting. It's not like, I think what I love about Connect, it's like there's space holding in every moment for each other, and we don't have to actually be in the workshop context to always have that sensitivity and that depth and that authenticity to really, again, connect from the heart, from the purity of what is there. So this is like, I think what I get from the Connect, like, and what I really appreciate is that you really learn or feel the Connect through experience. It's not something, oh, I'm going to read your website and I know what it is. No, it's really like a,
But do read the website, by the way.
also it's nice to read the website, of course. But
Don't encourage people to not read the website. We worked on. No, just kidding.
no, it's good to read it. It gives, again, as you call it, this context. But I think for what is more powerful for me is to really experience it and feel it and see how my being is reacting to it. Like, oh wow, it feels really home. It feels really safe. It feels really very different, actually, very different from other communities or cultures that I know. So again, I give you now the space to just express whatever wants to come.
Yeah, there's a bit of a fear, a little fear up in me, and I just want to ask you. So it's also an example because you said it's like relating from the heart, and sometimes like if I would hear something like this before I met Connect, I would be like, oh, it's just like sharing from your feeling very intimately and relating like you talk to a deep friend all the time. And I just want to say that like sometimes it's not the case. Like for example, right now my fear is telling me it's kind of buzzing and it makes me want to ask you this question. But this question goes a bit of up against the grain of the space. And to ask you this question, I'm going to need to use a little bit of anger because I want to take care of the space in a radical, responsible way. And so I'm going to need to use my anger more to take care of the space. And what I want to ask you is that when you record this meeting, do you record it in your own computer or online?
On my computer.
Great. Because if you record it online, it's just going to see one of us at a time. And now they can see both of us. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's there. You can relax about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of used the information from my fear
Hmm.
to ask that, and I used my anger to go against the space and to ask you that, and yeah, now I feel joy to hear the answer.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like this day-to-day ongoing navigation.
Hmm.
It's not always this like pretty beautiful conversation. Like we just had a team meeting with some people in Connect, and there was a lot of fear and anger and sadness in the space and some joy. Like it was not all like this comfortable, like talking to your friend in a very intimate way. It's not always like this.
Hmm. Yeah, so this is something that you just named with your fear, right? That you're afraid to call this space like, oh, this is a place to connect from the heart, because I know what you mean. There's this sort of a um, way of understanding connection through the heart that maybe can bring like inauthenticity or people pleasing or yeah, like things like this. And this is not what people experience in Connect. It's the opposite, right? It's this like a radical self-responsibility and sometimes going to uncomfortable conversations and naming things that are there no matter what. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. So please just like draw me a little picture. What is
I I
that?
want to just I want to just draw maybe some more context
Yeah,
from it.
exactly. Hmm.
So why? why would I need to do all of that? Why do I need to use my feelings like this? Why do I need to not people please? Like people please is really working. Yeah, like if you look at modern culture, like everyone is people pleasing and it's really working for survival.
Mm,
Like people get ahead in life, people get rich, or people just survive the next day. Like it's those things are working. So why do I need to do anything different?
mm-hmm,
And so it's not really about like in this interview also, but in general, it's not about how you should live or what you should do. Sometimes people think that, let's say, taking this next culture context or taking the connect context is kind of some kind of liability because it's taking them from just surviving in modern culture. And if that's what you're trying to do, like if you're trying to get more powerful, rich, or I mean, powerful is more like forceful and rich and famous, or in modern culture, like that's probably not for you. That's not your path, and nobody's gonna say that anything bad about that. Like we get it, we're all trying to survive, but also if you're looking for something beyond that, if you're looking for something that is more close to what you actually feel, to your authenticity, to what you're here for, to create your mission, then the connect is meant to empower you in this way, and not only to empower you in a way that gives you the way to think or to feel or to think about your feelings, but also about bringing people in your team to do this together, because some of us are lone wolves sometimes in this.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that reminds me of our conversation that we had the other day, about, yeah, this culture that I can say now for me it's like is masquerading or pretending to be something new, but actually it's not because it's just repeating the patriarchal patterns. So so yeah, like actually there is, I feel there is a deep need and longing in my heart to be in new context, sort of like not to reciprocate these patterns of as you called it, like running after values that are not eventually in highest good for all, and not being able to be authentic and to express the true emotions, and creating something completely like based on completely different laws, right, and rules. And we had this beautiful conversation about it, or beautiful. It was not beautiful, actually. It was quite, maybe that's not the right word. It was quite sharp, but for me, it was beautiful to realize, wow, okay, like it takes so much presence, actually, so much presence and so much uh, like self responsibility to really look inside and ask, okay, where like am I just pretending that I want to build a new world, and where actually I'm doing it, as you say, in this everyday moment of like, what I do in my everyday life, how I work, how I earn money, how I hold my space for my clients, like what is the way of talking to my parents or resolving conflicts, any like so many things that happen in these everyday moments that actually like build this new paradigm. So yeah, I'm just sharing what came up while you were speaking.
Gosh, I need to interview you. I don't know why I'm speaking all the time here. What is this? Yeah, but in our interviews, we get to interview each other also. So I get to ask you all these dangerous questions too. And yeah, and thank you for sharing this. So for me, what something that you said really touched on, it's about not being authentic in something, or but not being authentic by the new game world the new world you call it, that you're creating. And I feel scared a little bit about this because also in this word authenticity, like what is it really? And in some, I don't know, I came to this work from like guru land. Like I was following a guru and I was like doing yoga for like 10 years. I was going to ashrams in India, and also was big in self-development. Like I thought I knew everything about self-development stuff. And there it's like there is this point where you reach enlightenment or you become rich and famous, and then you kind of reach there. And what I found in this work that it's, or I call it the work, but it's really a game world, in Connect game world, which means it's a group of people that going on this adventure, going on this path that has a certain context. It's you never really get there. Like there's no this goal that you get there. Because we're kind of walking together and like look, because I'm gonna be unauthentic many times. And I'm gonna be like I'm talking myself as Dole. I'm like just now I was late for a meeting for 30 minutes and there was no reason for me. It was totally my shadow world that took over myself and just blindsided me. I was late and I really feel sad about that, about missing half of that meeting. And so that's gonna happen in this path. Like, you know, your shadow world is a part of it, and your big emotions, your child emotions are a part of it, and you're also your adult, and the cool things that you do are being there and appreciated, and hopefully there are more in the steering wheel, like your adult is steering the wheel most of the time. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't look so pretty. So when we're talking about authenticity, it's more like this is a bright principle that I can choose to source in my life and to take a stand for. It's more like that than just like a intellectual value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
I feel a bit scared that I threw a lot there. I'm gonna try to slow down a bit also. And
Okay, you can throw it, throw it in the space. So, Dor, could you like draw like distinction of what is next culture for you and how it's different from this new age culture or this modern culture after all these sharings?
yeah, but first I want to talk about my coffee. And I want to talk about my coffee not because actually a part of me just want to talk about my coffee, but there's in this coffee there is soy milk. And before when I was a kid, I don't know about you, if you're that old like me, I'm 39 right now. There wasn't soy milk, there was just milk, right? And then suddenly one day there was soy milk and all these other milks. So this distinction between different kind of milks, it creates more possibilities. Now there's a possibility of me putting soy milk in my, but if I didn't have this distinction between there's milk, oh, there's soy milk, there's plant-based milk, there's all these different kind of milks, then I wouldn't be able to have a coffee with soy milk in the morning and not to hurt my stomach. So you said to draw a distinction, and this is what a distinction is. I just wanted to make the distinction about the distinction.
Thanks for doing that. So it's clear now.
Okay. It's not about like this is the right way. It's more about like, oh, there's more possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like next culture is the right culture or like
Mm-hmm.
even like maybe it's not even clear what it is, but just to know that there is something else possible than modern culture for most for I don't know, even for me, from that I was doing self-development for a long time. For a lot of people, this can be groundbreaking. This could be like, okay, modern culture, what a lot of people refer as the real world. Like we live in the real world, and this is like for them to realize that in another culture, it's really it can be big. Not only that it exists, but they can try it and experience something different, live in a different culture. And then so modern culture is this thing that we grow up with and we get trained, broken into like horses, like they break wild horses, they need to break them so they be trained. So we kind of get broken into modern culture as children. And yeah, we're like a fish in the water. We think that's the world. That's what exists. That's how life is. And modern culture is a culture that is centered around the values of the values that are being sourced by uninitiated adolescents people. The people are not adults and they weren't initiated, and there's because they were not initiated, a lot of them can be like psychopaths even. So there's researches about this, about like CEOs of major companies. So they never check the politicians at the top, but some of them are really like psychopaths. Really, they're taken over by their shadow world, and the being is not really present anymore. Some of them in different levels. I'm not saying all of them. And then these are men and women, and they get to source what we call modern culture, which is root. There's is like based on who has the most power or richness, and you have to survive. It's all about survival. And this is what I call the patriarchy. Like the patriarchy is like men and women that are sourcing this pyramid, this like because it's built like an hierarchy, maybe of a family, that the father is in the top or something like a traditional family. That's modern culture, that's patriarchy. And before that, there was you could say matriarchy, but there were cultures that were not rooted in this pyramid. So if you go to even I don't know, like Amazonian societies, like shamanic societies, so they build differently. And there are initiation ceremonies. So when they get to initiate, like they take the adult children, they take them to the forest and they do this initiation with a shaman. And then they get back and they take their center was with their parents, their mother and the father, and now they're taking their center and put it in the village. They become one of the people, one of the village people. And now it's okay because now their center is in the village, and this whole village is like this entity that is somehow sustainable, and it has like a lot of beauty in it. But then not having these initiation ceremonies doesn't work in modern culture, because that's where they would stop this one psychopathic kid that is torturing animals. That's where they would intervene and do something about it. In modern culture, you don't have this initiation, so the psychopaths get into the top, they take all the power, and we get to live in this like prison where we believe it's real. And next to culture is already out there, it already exists. There's an interesting movie and a book about it. It's called How 30 Million People Are Changing the World, Cultural Creatives. And it shows that there's people that like really live by different values, um different direction.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. So, what does it take? What kind of initiation does it take to become like a responsible adult in these times?
So that's great. That's the question. That's exactly where the one before the last answer ended, is like it's a path. It's not that at some point I become this like here's a graduation degree, here's a diploma, you're this initiated adult. It's like this path of adulthood. You keep walking and you're getting more responsible as you walk in it. But there's something about like the initiation is about you choosing to go on the path. Like nobody can do it for you. Nobody is like you are taking your center, and instead of giving this to the society, to the village, to your family, to your corporation, you take in your energetic center and you put it in your physical center.
Mm.
You have your center and you choose, okay, I'm walking this path of adulthood, this path of responsibility.
Mhm.
That's different.
Mhm. So, is maybe like the spirit of connect creating a space for many beings who will like willingly they want to like step into that responsibility and really create their reality in a way that feels aligned with who they are. Like, is this space like how this space is bringing this intention together, how all these beings can together step into that threshold of initiation into like, okay, I'm the future ancestor, and recognize, okay, like what was in the past was in the past, and now actually I'm the one to hold the torch and pave the way for the ones to come. Like, I'm curious, like, and I know actually the answer is yes. This is like not the right way to ask this, because I know that connect helps people with that. But maybe the question is how? How, in what ways, what are the tools, what are the, yeah, um, possibilities that you're creating for that?
Yeah, so I think it's a great time to mention this other game world that called possibility management that I went through several of their initiation and I learned about all this stuff. Like mainly this person Clinton Callahan and on Chloe. And so I was in their initiations and I learned a lot of that. And I think they're really focused on like the thoughtware to upgrade that thoughtware about how to think about all these things. And Connect is more like an adventure to do this together. It's more like, okay, we get that it's a path, but how can we do it together in like an adventure, fun way? How can we really do this in a way that works together? And it is an initiation. We have initiation trainings. And I mean, if you just join our meeting, it's going to be one big initiation for you. It's like, and so the focus in Connect is more about how to walk together in this. Because eventually it's like when we create next culture, we want to actually be in it and to walk it. So how to make it like the initiation part is, I mean, it sounds, you just get to the spaces. I mean, you've been there and you're starting to get it, starting to like feel things, do maybe emotional healing processes, maybe to do some experiments and change, and you're starting to initiate yourself really. And Connect is more like the platform to do it, and a collective of people that can walk with you in this adventure, like people that you want to walk with.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the fun things to do together? Tell us a bit of all the amazing projects and adventures and courses and trainings that Connect is offering now.
For me, the funnest thing you can do is to join an anger club,
Mm,
which is yeah, it's a 4 week training where you get to connect to your anger again. Like that is high level fun. You because like you're are for me like I was disconnected from my anger, and so to just connect to it again, it feels so much joy. Like when I was abroad and I was all these adventures abroad, because like I knew how to have fun before that. I didn't need these like all these responsible weird people. Like, but then there was all this problem. Like I could not set my boundaries. I was giving my center to the group, to other people. I could not just find a moment with myself. I could not be centered. And then all these really crazy fun adventures that I invested so much that weren't really high level fun. It was kind of this fun, irresponsible fun, which is also fun in a different way. But yeah, so we're creating kind of like adventures that are, that you can be in your center. You can have spaces where you can share from your feeling. You can be authentic with yourself. And for example, one thing that is coming up is in the summer is the Connect Caravan. We're going to go through festivals in East Europe and hold space in this festival, and people can welcome and join our like little tribe there. And we're going to do a road trip around East Europe and stuff like that, and go to different communities and eco villages and hold space there, kind of like weave more this Connect tribe. And we have in Latin America, we have an adventure where in the winter we're gonna go and just have this like trip, like I was mentioning, like having this like you're going on a trip around the world, but with like a group of people that that you can hold this different kind of space, like a next culture space with. And then we have all this invitation from people in Connect and different people that have communities and villages there. We're just gonna go around, visit them, and also one big adventure is to find land for the first eco village, for the first Connect eco village. That's a big adventure. And there's also like this co-living house. We call it a feeling surf house in Portugal coming up. So yeah, there's a lot of little gatherings, like people in Budapest. There is now a big group there after we did the retreat in Budapest, the Budapest Archetypal Adventure. Now there's like a little tribe there and they're meeting. There's all these like little gatherings and stuff like that.
Mm. Sounds fun. So it's really like you take it to a global level. Wow. So it's really like people from around the world can connect and go into process initiation adventure together. What is like what is your vision? Like how you would like this path to continue? Like what is like something that is, a dream that you would like to manifest in that way?
I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think it's going?
Mm,
What's your vision about, let's say it's really a new game world. It's really a new thing and it's open. So you're now playing with it. Where would you take it if you
yeah, I somehow feel and see this kind of a global village, kind of sort of a very intimate way of connecting with people, communities around the world that creates that sort of like a network around the globe, and that it feels really easy and natural um, to I see this visually as like this like dots around the earth that are just connecting and lighting up together some like a bigger scale um, design that is like activating in a different places and different groups in different places. Because I also want to say before, when you mentioned this like nomadic aspect of this, that there's these adventures are going to different places, the word that was coming to me like, wow, it's like a pilgrimage. There's like pilgrims. There's this archetype of a pilgrim. You can call it nomad also, sure, but somehow something even deeper was sparked in me when you said that, like, oh wow, it's like people who, yes, they're nomadic, they're adventurous, but also they're going there with a purpose to spread, to open these portals of, yeah, remembrance, how this could be when we are together, when we share common purpose, when we support and empower each other, and we do it together, no? So something like this came up in my vision now. um and sort of like a also, yeah, like a word, the revolution is coming. A revolution, because I feel there was so much division and this distinction for human beings because of the religion and politics and so on. And I feel this is something that really like separates people on a big scale, and this this new culture way, that it's so like taken apart from the context of religion and politics, but it's more around, again, what you just described in this conversation. It's like, wow, okay, it brings more unity. So I don't know what I exactly see for this as the future vision, but definitely I feel this spirit of unity and expansion on the globe, and creating this like hubs that are supporting each other and exchanging information, resources, wisdom, um, also physical space. I think this is something that me personally, uh, in my life journey, this is something that comes as a big need from literally from my physical body vessel of like, wow, okay, I've been like traveling a lot, during the last years. I didn't have really um, like a location where I can really like build and put my roots down. So this is very interesting for me to notice, that, wow, actually I need a part, and I was part of many networks in a um, more like energetic, etheric way, but now it's really like, wow, I really need to be with people in person and touch them, and eat together and sing together and enjoy life together, and have that proximity. This is something what emerges for me. So if I was meant to say what's the vision for this, like I would say yes, let's keep expanding, and at the same time also bring the physical like space context where we can really like come and we're like okay, like because I feel this is this path, the last sentence, that this is this path of this like light warriors, that we go to these places, to this context, and like okay, we bring this new culture, we bring the new values, and we just like I almost feel sometimes like I'm going there and just like cutting off the old, beliefs or programs just with me, like just with my presence, my energy. Like I'm already changing something in the reality around me just by yeah being myself, basically. But I must say there's a point on this path where I just get like like a little bit tired, and I feel like okay, I just want to be in this space where I set the context, where I set the vibe, so to say, and where there is just people who are resonant with that, and I don't have to be in this mode of a warrior. I can also be in the mode of receiving and surrender, and just feeling safe to like okay, this is that temple or sanctuary that I can just like relax into. Yeah, so this is what I would like call in somehow. How
Mhm.
does it feel?
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. I really enjoyed your distinction about the remembering. It's really remembering, like our soul or our being can remember what it's like to be together,
Mm,
to sing together, and to eat together. Like that's stuff that I feel that I forgot in modern culture, and I, yeah, it really touches me this remembering together,
mm,
and I also enjoy that because it's very different than, than kind of. I know you didn't say it, but it's like, mm, people might think that it's kind of like, how do you call it, like missionaries that they come in to change something or change the old thing into the new thing, and it's not really like, and that's exactly revolution, right? It's a revolution. It's like we're going to cut off the old, come with our new philosophy and theories, and it turns out that it doesn't really work. I mean, I think a lot of us edge workers were trying this in different lifetimes. It doesn't work like this.
mhm,
And actually, there's something to look inside. I mean, I had this thing. This is how I know about wanting to change people. Like a lot of people, you see this when you travel, like a lot of people experience something really great. Maybe they come to your workshop, and then the first thing they want to do is to go back and tell their parents about this and change their parents. There's something about trying to change people that it's coming from, like, you can check that with a space holder. Where is it coming from? I'm talking to people that are watching. And this is big today because people, they don't have this remembrance thing that you're talking about. They don't have spaces where they can remember and feel what it can be. All they know it's what they're in this fish tank, and all they know it's what there is now. And now it's either this or that, right or left, like this politics or this politics. And you try to fight it. And the only thing that they know is to prosecute someone else and to fight it. And it just creates more messes, and it just, but if you're like a soda water, and you're like a bubble, and this little bubble, this is also, by the way, from Clinton Callan. He calls it um, cavitating space. It's like this little bubble becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, like this. And all these little bubbles of us, of like remembering, of sitting together, remembering, they become big, and more people join, and people get attracted to that. And to join, they have this like boundary where they need to leave this like um, this old programming about needing to be right, for example, or needing to have a philosophy or a theory about this. And then they get to experience something else, and that is inspiring. Like then people want to join that.
mm,
And yeah, maybe it's this kind of pilgrimage. Like I imagine a pilgrimage just walking, even by himself sometimes, in this path, and he's just doing it without reason. Like not, it doesn't try to change the world. He's not trying to get more points. It's just doing it for himself, and he's kind of holding this space, his culture. And this is something that everyone that's watching this can do right now. Like you can just declare your bubble of space, and inside of this, you can start sourcing your own culture that
Mm,
you want to see in the world. And people are going to get attracted to that. It's going to grow.
mm, mhm. Yeah. I just want to add one thing to this. Like when I was speaking about cutting off things, for me, it's always like it's cutting what's inside of me, you know? All these beliefs, programs, mind loops where I am still hooked to the system of patriarchy, of suppression, of control. Like I see in myself where I'm still giving my free will, my responsibility, my willpower to some other, sources that just suck me out, and this is what I cut. So definitely, like I agree with you that it's not about going out there and fighting someone. It's really like like a samurai taking a sword inside with that pride of like, okay, like I'm gonna you know release all this bondage from my heart, all this bondage from my soul that still keeps me in this cage, in this box. Because actually, again, the word remembers, I do remember deep inside of my being that I came here to live life of purpose, life of joy, of happiness, of community. Like we all deeply remember that from our ancestors, from another times on earth probably. And it's just such a beautiful time, I think, at the moment. We live in such a strong evolutionary moment now on Earth where actually I feel some gate is opening and some things really like are possible to do. And it almost feels like, when we talk about this responsibility, it almost feels like how to even say it makes me angry not to take the responsibility because actually we can. So it's a privilege. It's a privilege we have. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I wanna build on that. It's like what you said, I think about it a lot about when we say like, this moment of time. And sometimes it's like I bet that every person thought that their point of time is special, like in like some prophecy or some energetic way. And that's sometimes something that is a bit, I'll say maybe in a nice way, I'll say it's beyond our control sometimes. But what's special in this time? And this is what I think about a lot. Like, what's special about this time that we can use our anger and we can do take a stand in the world right now? And this is, I think, this is where it meets me. Like what you said, I said in another word, or maybe this is my interpretation of it's like, if I won't do it, who's gonna do it? Like who's like if there's a person that didn't learn about all this stuff that I learned, didn't go through all these initiations, like they're not going to do it. I can't expect anyone else to take the responsibility to do it. It's like really me. And the responsibility in next culture, it's different than modern culture responsibility, where it's a bit of a burden. Like I need to be the responsible victim, really. The responsibility in next culture is, they say great power comes with great responsibility. So the cool thing is that you get the power also for your life, for other people's life. Like I had so many things that well, I'm so glad we're talking about it. I didn't think about it. I mean, I just thought about it today and I didn't think I'm going to say it. There's like so many things and problems in my life that was really making my life not so pleasant. And 95% of them were emotional. And once I sorted this emotional space in a workable way, like I still discover sometimes emotions and I work with them as I go to my edge, but as I sorted this out, now this most of my problems are gone and I can start looking at the world and see, okay, what people around me need, what this person needs. And that's like the responsibility. Like now I have the power to sort this thing out and now I have the power to move things and do things in the world and play with the world, what I'm going to do next. And this is something that I think, because of survival, because religion, because all these things were very powerful, all these systems, until now, people could not do them. I mean, I even escaped the yogic path. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I love the yogic path. It empowered me. It gave me a lot of connection to my physical and energetic body. It helped me to find more focus and use my focus and stuff. And even I learned about responsibility there when I learned this. But so all these things build this up. It's not like even all these 3,000 years or whatever years of modern culture, it still builds something up. So right now, me and you can be here and we can be kind of like, okay, what's next? How to do this thing fun, how to do this thing together, how to create transformation, how to cavitate more space. And this is, I think, what we're really lucky to live in the world today. Um,
Mm, mhm. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that in. And I just want to highlight also for all people who are gonna watch it, this step that I feel it's so important to take. That I really appreciate community of connect about that. We really start with looking, at our emotions consciously and at all this healing that needs to be done, right? And the main tool that you or we, I'm part of it now, we are using, right? Like it's emotional healing process. And it's so beautiful to see like, wow, no one is judged, no one is blamed, no one is um abandoned or ostracized by like having a process or having a problem or being in their shadow or being in their yeah, like not empowered state. It's not like, okay, like you're out now. No, it's the opposite. Okay, like you need an emotional healing process. And what you said, it really brings it home, I feel like, about like, okay, once I resolve all of this, what is inside of me, this survival, this pain, this attachment.
patriarchy,
Say again?
patriarchy inside of me.
Patriarchy inside. That
Someone else.
yes, exactly. That's literally hurting my pure being. Like it's hurting me. And of course, if I'm hurting, it's clear I cannot give from this place when I'm hurting myself. Um, so I feel it's so beautiful to really again take it back to like how much I love myself, how much I respect myself, and how much I want the best for myself. And I think again this is that responsibility of an adult to say like, okay, like this is the responsibility to really come back to myself in a real way and really feel myself again. Who am I behind all that suffering? And I feel like once we experience that, and again, I think it's really hard to get there by yourself, by your own self. You can get to some point, but there is a point in my personal experience, there's some point where it's like, wow, I can't do it myself anymore. It's just too much. It's too big of a burden. And then the community is this space where I can receive support, where someone can hold space for me, where I can express my true emotions and be held in it. And again, when I feel like when that this there's a possibility for that, the opportunity for that, and I can clear myself in some way to really at least start sensing like who really I am behind this stuff, then as you say, it's a natural impulse, like natural impulse to blossom and to be like, wow, actually I want to share, I want to give. How can I give more to life? How can I serve life? How can I be this beacon of light in this space? And again, it's not from this place of egoic will of like, oh yeah, I want to be cool, I want to be powerful or whatever. No, it's my natural response to this state, right? Yeah, and I feel that it's yeah, it's so evolutionary where many beings come together in that state, in this pure state of reciprocity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a name for it. We call it winning happening.
Mm,
Like even when we say win-win in modern culture, it's kind of like you win and I win, but we both compromise a little bit. But this is really like when you're on this path, it's like winning happening. I do it for myself and for the world and for my client and for everyone. It's just like an ecosystem.
mm,
and it's like an easy way to go in life. I think sometimes people hear about this work and feelings are very scary because we'll never learn to use them. And I think it's like really hard and really complicated. But then, I mean, some of the initiation are going to your emotions, doing healing processes and stuff. But then it's such an easy way. Like for me, it took so much of the baggage, from my back for that I know that I can do something that is simple and sustainable and it's a winning happening for everyone. I don't need to believe in anything. I don't need any theories. I don't need to join any like I can leave and come whatever I want. I can just take what empowers me, what empowers people around me, and use that. Like it's such a liberating path that I hope a lot of people, especially young people, would hear about because they don't have these initiation ceremonies. And at some point when I see them, like especially these 18, 20-year olds, they're kind of like lost and they have all this energy and there's like now I need to give it to this modern culture that I don't even feel a part of. Yeah, so it's kind of like for me, I feel like, especially these days, I'm more connected to my joy. It's really an easy path to walk in life. Like maybe you don't get famous or you don't get be the rock star or so rich or something, but you get to connect with great people, go on adventures together, take care of yourself. You can hold workshops and emotional healing processes. A lot of us work with children in different programs, and we're going to start also working with organizations now. It's a really sustainable way, I think, to figure out life. And then again, even this sounds to me a bit survival, but it's for me, it's really about this. Now doing this interview with you, it's like I feel so much joy now to source this, and I cannot replace it with anything. Like there's nothing better
Mm,
to replace it with, and it's a lot of these kind of moments that really feel my being, my soul.
mm.
That's what it's about for me.
Beautiful. I'm feeling it when you say it. And there is
There's always an end with you.
yes, there is a little
Great.
how to say like how to say experiment or this taboo word that I want to throw in here and dive with you for this small moment because I feel like it's just coming anyway
Yeah,
always.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Money.
Ha. Great.
So, okay, let's just leave it there. I want to see what you say. And I'm gonna take a sip of water also.
Create some tension in the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What he's gonna say about that?
No, like, I really love that we end here with this soul mission, like however you called it, like really feeling satisfied on a deep soul, emotional level. And then the aspect of money and the aspect of this sort of exchanges in the world. And I'm just curious like how the next culture can, yeah, sort of bridge the world of value, of satisfaction, of um, reciprocity and abundance for all with this with this old context of how money works in the system now.
Okay, then you asked me a dangerous question. Now I'm gonna offer a dangerous proposal to you.
Yeah.
Will you do a little experiment about this? So instead of explaining this, we can get to feeling something.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a little experiment. Just close your eyes and see when you say the word money, what stories come up? What maybe even feelings come up?
I feel like a little tension in my chest and my throat, like kind of like a contraction,
Yeah, that
and
instinctively follow.
like a shrinking, like shrinking a little bit.
Okay, so if you have to use anger, sadness, fear, or joy, which feeling would be the closest?
Fear.
Yeah, fear because
Fear because I don't see a path that can connect my my truth and my values with the energy of money.
you feel fear because you don't see a path that connect your values of truth to money.
Yeah. And also sadness. When I said it, I also feel sadness in my heart about that.
Because
Sadness because not having certain possibilities because of that.
you feel sadness about not having certain possibilities about money.
No, it's not about like not having possibilities to spread whatever I want to spread in the world because of that, because of the money constriction.
Okay, I got it. Thank you for correcting me. So it's about feeling sadness about not having possibilities in the world to create what you wanted to create because money's in the way in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Or it feels like I don't know if it's really on the way, but it feels like it's blocking some energy channel.
It's blocking some energy channel.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing great. I so it seems like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's something that you're blowing and if we keep going with this, it will become an emotional healing process and it's not the space, but I just want to try to find something small. It seems like there's a story there that when like the money blocks sometimes the energy, there's almost like a meme, like a meme, like a picture.
Mm-hmm.
You find this meme, what is it there?
Slave.
Okay, slave to money.
Yeah.
We are slaves to money.
Some beliefs. It's not even money itself. It's not the physical money thing. It's like a belief that enslaves.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
money enslaves us.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we all have these memes, especially around money, because it was so central in the culture that we grew up with. It was such a central element. And then there is a relation to it, and this relation is full of emotions because when we felt something about this, let's say my parents gave me some pocket money to buy something in the store and it wasn't enough for what I wanted to buy, maybe I felt angry, but I could not express that anger because anger was wrong and not accepted and dangerous and whatever story. So the anger got stuck, the sadness got stuck in fear. So I have all these stuck emotions about that big topic, and there's all these memes that came up with. So for example, like money doesn't grow on trees, you need to work hard for your money, everyone needs money, or you need money to live. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have a training for that. It's called the Nomadic Money Club, which is really about healing a lot of these, a lot of the emotions around that and changing the memes around that. Like we call it mimetic engineering, when you go back and find the first meme that leads to all the other memes and change it.
Mm.
And then so the nomadic, we have a training about this because if I'll tell you right now how do I see money or how money can be in X culture, what is going to happen is you're going to still have this emotion. So and then you're going to need to either believe me or not believe me, but it's not going to be where your X on the map is. But so we usually do the training first about this, changing the memes, finding more possibilities, like going through the emotions, and then I can say that like in next culture, money's not in the center. It's more in the edges
Mm-hmm.
between modern culture and next culture. It's kind of like on this buffer zone. And so like space holders get to take care of themselves. We people pay for the workshops, they actually invest in themselves. But there are all these new contexts, new ways to think about it, but it's really people usually when they ask me this question, it's really about the emotions and about their memes about money, and there's something really liberating in changing them.
Mm. Yes, thank you so much for this little process. I brought it up on purpose, because this is actually sadly the first thing. It's not just my own process, I feel. It's sadly like what I hear in, I would say, 80% of conversations about why people are still not starting to gather, to create together, to live in communities. This is what I hear out there. Like the first reason, yeah, like we don't have money for this, for that, for the land, for the space. And I feel that's such a big topic in this, like birth, in the process of birthing the new culture, that people are still, and including myself, still this belief, still there's this enslaving, type of connection with money where we let like be victimized by like, oh, like I cannot do that because I don't have money. And this becomes really like a reason why not to start living differently, which now when I say it, it makes me really angry actually. um, and I see people being really stuck about that, and just like because of that, staying stuck in this kind of like a lone wolf archetype of just doing things myself, or like it's actually also quiet, makes me also angry, to be part of different circles, or yeah, like communities or so ever, networks where everyone talks about this new ways of doing things and the bright future and so on. But then when it comes to this very pragmatic topic, which is money, it's like, oh, but everyone takes care just of themselves, and there's not like, there's still this very like rigid, way of thinking of how things can work for me to survive, and then I feel like really sad and disappointed. Okay, so we are talking about community, but at the end, like everyone just works on their own business, and they are not really weaving this experience together, Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your sadness about it.
Yeah.
I, I feel connected to that.
Hmm.
Also, what I see when I travel the world in communities, it's even sometimes it becomes this like hierarchy. So they sort out the money thing, but someone is the owner, and then it's like everyone are the employees or something. So that's you just creating patriarchy again. You're just creating modern culture again, and that's painful. Like that's really painful. Usually, there's a lot of mess and
Hmm.
drama. And the other thing is that, or another thing is that people try to do a more circular thing, but they don't have the thought where, and they don't know how to navigate emotions about this. And then people are coming there, and people have emotions about money, of course. And then there's all these like weird walking on eggshells around it, and or people play lone wolves, like you're saying, and so they find a way to build a life around it. So this is why we go in when you go to your center, it's like, okay, what's in the center of it? There's really a bunch of emotions there, bunch of stories and memes. And then you transform that. You really transform that, and your X on the map starts for somewhere else. So if your X on the map was here, you had these kind of possibilities, but now your X on the map is somewhere else and you're a different person. Like I had a long journey about money, by the way. When I started as a space holder, I did this workshop and I had this fantasy world that like, okay, these workshops are going to be my job and that's going to take care of all my expenses. I could travel around the world and live like a king because of, and because I had still all these emotions and it's like, it's kind of like this, we can call it a money thing. And it's like a money thing. And a lot of us, like most of us have this money thing. And then it got in the way. I see this in people who work with clients. It gets in the way a lot. And it's always like it's keep the space limited. It's like this like it's like you can feel it in the space, how it limits the space, and everyone are getting hooked by it. Everyone have emotions about it, and everyone need to walk on eggshells. But then the conversation is not about what are we here for to create ecstatically, because we're hooked. And Connect is really one of these platform, one of these game rules to to stop for a moment and to be okay, hook, like you said, Alaia, being hooked is not bad. You're hooked by something, you have an emotion. This is the platform to heal. We're in our team to heal together. And then when that's gone, you can be in a totally different space about money. It's about money, about relationships. We all have this thing about our partners and stuff, about our family. We all have big things about our family. So all these things, you know, and I feel a bit scared when I'm dropping all of this here because it sounds maybe a lot to work with. But one thing that I realize in myself, and I want people to hear about this, is that one cool thing that I discover is the more that I do emotional healing processes, the more that I trained using my anger, for example, to set boundaries and stuff like this, then it projects to other areas of my life. Like if I do a lot of work with the family stuff, like for now I have great connection with my family. Like I put them, in my team, not in front of me trying to change them and all that stuff. And that like leaks into other areas. So I'm great at putting boundaries now also with my partners. Like, so all this work, you kind of really building this superpower in you. And it just turning on this superpower. And once this superpower is on, like it goes like to all the circles of life that you're working with. And then now I can look at this thing about money. If you have a money thing, great. You have this path. This is your gym now. You're going to build that. You're going to do a bunch of emotional healing process on this thing that is alive with you. And then it's going to reciprocate on other areas of your life. And you're going to find this this new origin point. You're going to find it also here and here and here. And then like, some of my clients that I started with a few years ago and now they're in my teams, I love their clarity. I love the way they got into even not with working on me on all the things that I work, but I love the place that they come and it brings so much value. We're not going to be these healed people ever, but it's just working with these like geniuses, with this sensitive being is it's so great. So
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
worth much more than any money.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. I feel that was a valuable part for me to hear, and I hope for the ones who watch it as well. Um, yeah. Is there more things you'd like to share, Dor? Anything that feels important to bring?
I mean, yeah, I'm taking a stand for space holders. So if you're watching this and your thing is like, how can I take my first step into becoming a space holder? So we have trainings for that. And some of my clients now are holding anger clubs. And yet that you can really own becoming a space holder and own being part of a game world that is not it's not an hierarchy. You can own being part of it. And yeah, I want people to know that they can do it and nobody can stop them from doing it, but nobody can do it for them. So if that's you that is watching, yeah, keep going, and thank you for watching all this time, and feel free to connect and just say hi or something.
Mm, thank you so much. And I can say from my side, like, that I can really recommend it in a real way, not not to say that because it sounds nice or something, but I really feel already I received so much, from being part of this space. I'm also in the space holder training that completely blows my mind every time we have the call. Um, and I must say it's a beautiful surprise from life that I found this circle and um, yeah, it's something like really rebuilding the foundation for literally for life. It's like I thought, oh, it's just gonna be about space holding, but no, it's really like creating new pillars in myself of like, okay, this is the pillar of that and of that and of that, and I see how these pillars are growing, and how they affect, as you said before, like these different areas of my life, that it's just like spreading and kind of like yeah, expanding and melting into my work, into my finances, into my relationships. It's really like such a strong support system, to be part of this space energetically. So anyway, if this is something that you would appreciate when you watch it and you're curious about this space, I feel, give it a try. Just enter and see what happens. You know, see what life will show you. And I think this is beautiful experiment. You can just give a chance to. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dor. It was a pleasure and fun, and also some drilling was there, but I feel great.
Thank you, Alaia. It was fun for me. Wow, thank you so much. I really enjoyed being in your presence and hearing your clarity too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dor. And we're
See you
here.
soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.